Ayesha Akhtar with the Epilepsy Foundation of Greater Chicago. And I have with me Bryan Anderson, President and CEO of the Epilepsy Foundation of Greater Chicago. Thanks, Bryan, for being with me.
Of course, Ayesha. Happy to be here.
So as you know, Bryan, we are obviously in the middle of a pandemic, and emotions are really high right now. We have a lot of civil unrest, but I think that this is a really good time to kind of bring into the conversation the work that we do. We are a social service agency. We are here to help people, and I would love to maybe just have this conversation with you. So thanks for taking the time out to meet with me. I wanted to kind of hear from you, like when you started working at the foundation, what did you see at that time were your biggest challenges joining a new organization?
I think I did come in at the perfect time because literally my first day was the consumer conference. So I had a chance to meet with professional advisory board members. I had a chance to meet with my staff, which was great. Everybody was there. But most importantly, I had a chance to meet with the clients and to listen about the topics that you created for these presentations throughout the day. You come in and you know something about epilepsy, but you never know as much as you think you knew, especially for me coming into this role. So it was just so educational, so powerful, and a great opportunity to listen to our clients. So for me, it was the absolute perfect timing for me to come in. And yeah, there's some nerves, I'm not gonna lie, but it was great overall. So I think what I took from there as a whole is that this is just a passionate organization, a passionate group of volunteers, a passionate group of nurses and social workers and doctors, the most passionate staff I've ever been a part of. So when I walked out that afternoon, I was just invigorated, and I knew I made the right decision, and I was so excited to be here, and I felt that way ever since.
Now, you said that there was so much to learn for you on the job, and for myself as well. I've been with the foundation 8 years, and I think I'm constantly learning. And I think that one fact that blew me away was that there were more than 20 different seizures, or that even 1 in 10 people have a single seizure, and that deja vu is a type of seizure. Is there something that kind of jumped out at you that you just had no idea blew you out of the water?
Yeah, if I could mention 2 things, because 2 things blew me out of the water. The first one was how prevalent epilepsy is. There was, I had a few direct connections overall, but that 1 in 26 number just blew me away. 1 in 26 people will be diagnosed with epilepsy in their lifetime. And for me, that's when I knew, like, got it. We have to raise awareness. We have to talk about epilepsy. We have to let people know about seizure first aid, which is, your background and what you do as a whole. So for me, it was the prevalence. And once I put it on LinkedIn that I was in this position, the amount of people that reached out to me saying that, my child has epilepsy, or my grandmother has epilepsy, or my teacher, it just goes on, my neighbor. For me, I didn't realize how prevalent epilepsy was. Because when you look at a consumer conference, you have hundreds of people there, and just the percentages alone, you're blown away by, Wrigley Field, 1 in 26 people out of 40,000 in a stadium. It was unbelievable. So for me, that was one of the most impactful ones. And then the other one is that is SUDEP. I really didn't know about SUDEP as a whole. I didn't know that seizures can lead to death. And for me, that was really, really eye-opening, which is part of the reason why we've built partnerships with people like Danny did, and people like Cure. So for me, it was really those 2 aspects that I was like, wow, we have some work to do. But then I was so excited because I knew about the staff and the volunteers and our advocates across the board and how passionate they were. So I knew the foundation was there, and it was just building it up more. So I feel like I came at the perfect time. I was super excited.
So let's talk a little bit actually about our staff and the culture. How would you describe your sort of personal touch? Every leader has a sort of personal touch on their organization. So what would you describe is your sort of personal touch to the foundation?
You talked about the culture, and when you talk about the culture, you talk about a collective understanding. You know what I mean? Like, what does everybody bring to the table? My first 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, however that was, it was a lot of listening. It was listening to people like yourself. You've been around for 8 years. Listening to people who have epilepsy, listening to the caregivers. That was really impactful. One of my first events was the holiday party we do in December. And I guess it was the time where I got to meet more people because it wasn't my very first day. I wasn't as overwhelmed. And just talking with that group was just, it was just fantastic for me to get a better understanding of what we need to do. So I like to think that I spent my first 6 months, my first year, asking a lot of questions, asking staff, asking physicians, asking social workers, asking clients, what are the needs? What do we need to do to help you overall? So for me, you listen to all of that. And I knew that collectively, we were a passionate, intelligent team. But how do you take that passion and that intelligence and build that out into the community? And that's when we started talking about seizing the narrative back from epilepsy. There's so many people that came up to me and said, I'm not going to let, epilepsy run my life. I'm going to overcome this. I'm going to college. I'm going to get a job. The stories, there's hundreds, there's thousands of stories that I received. So I think I brought in the point of, we're going to listen, and then we're going to work with our incredibly intelligent staff, volunteers, physicians, and we are going to raise awareness and build programs that serves this community. And so I like to think that's what I bring to the table, is a lot of listening, and then we can implement it. I'm lucky enough to have an amazing staff that really puts it all together. So that's, I think, where I come from, and the culture that we have within that organization is intelligence and passion. Every single person in that organization has both of those, hands down.
That's awesome. So taking that intelligence and the passion, let's now talk a little bit about what you would say has been your biggest accomplishment.
You know the answer. You do know the answer. You were a part of it. The whole community was a part of it, to be honest with you. But it's the Seizure Smart School Act, which is the Seizure Smart School Law. It's not an act. To be able to, again, listen to the community, listen to our staff, and to understand what the needs are. The school system was really, really important. And my wife's a school teacher, so I hear it firsthand. We need to make sure that teachers, administrators, everybody involved with the school system knows seizure first aid. Not every situation is a 911 call. And, I for me, being able to write, to advocate, and then to see that come into play, which it does July 1 of 2020. We're less than 30 days until that law is implemented. But we wrote it in January. And, thank you for all of your help with that, as well as our representative down in Springfield. We found an advocate, a leader. We wrote it, and we wrote it, and we rewrote it, and we wrote it 5 times. I think we had 5 amendments. We passed it through the House, and we passed it through the Senate unanimously. That was not expected. I knew that we had something special here, but that was not expected. And it's not me, it's not you, it is the community. We go down to Springfield and we have a lot to say. And again, this goes back into the intelligence, the passion that our volunteers have. We brought a young man down to Springfield with us. His dad came down with us. He spoke to the House, and his story, I think his story is actually what pushed this through. It's our advocates going down to Springfield. It's reaching out to your local representatives and talking about epilepsy and talking about what we need. And this Seizure Smart School Law, there is no doubt it is going to save lives. It is going to educate teachers. Parents and caregivers will have a seizure action plan. Kids could go on field trips. And maybe they couldn't before because people are more educated about this. Also from a classroom perspective, again, my wife's a school teacher, and it's whenever you call 911, there's a significant disruption in the school, right? It could take a half hour, an hour to get the classroom to understand, what's going on, and a fireman and a police officer and everybody's coming into the room. That takes time away from teaching, and that's something we really don't talk about as well. But that's why, this affects so much. I am so excited. It's my greatest professional moment. And I could talk, how long do we have? Because I could talk to you about this for hours and hours and hours, because it can evolve. Like we haven't gotten to the collegiate level. I think we can get to the college level. And we have a new staff member, a young man living with epilepsy on our team, who is helping to try to raise that awareness at the collegiate level. And again, that goes back into the passion that our staff has and the intelligence that we have. But I want, I want every kid in school. I want every college professor. I want every college student. I want every, EMT. I want everybody out there to know seizure first aid. It should be just like CPR. Great first step, but we have so much more to go, and we need the community to get behind us on this. And I know we will, because our community is amazing.
We will get there. And I think we have such great advocates now, and we know advocacy, we know what we're doing, and we have a really great committed team, just even beyond our immediate circle. So I think that is where we're going to be heading in the future for sure. It's really exciting. So 2020, let's talk about 2020. I know it's not the 2020 that you probably dreamt of. What are the challenges that you are facing today? What is on your mind today? What keeps you up at night as a leader of this organization?
I just want to help as many people as possible. And that's what it comes down to, is we need to help people seize the narrative back from epilepsy, right? We need to give them the resources that are out there. 2020 is not the start that we all had in mind as we began the year. But again, our team is just so passionate and so intelligent that we adapt, and our volunteers and our professional advisory board and our clients overall. We've been lucky. We've been using a virtual component for education, for how you reach out to the 44 counties that we serve. We've been using a virtual support system to do that, to educate people. We just had to bring it to the client services side a little bit quicker than what we thought. We knew we were going to do this eventually. We actually have a new law that we're working on right now for telehealth. So we knew this was going to be a focus for us. But I think that challenge of how do we have those touches? How do we communicate with our clients? How do we help them? Virtually it's been a plus and a minus. There's both to it. I think we can help more people virtually, because you can get 20 people on a call, and we have a psychotherapy group, so we can help out from that perspective. But our team, our clients, our physicians, our RNs, our social workers, everybody is missing that human touch. And I think that's the biggest challenge that we have right now, is not having that human touch. But at the same time, our virtual support groups that we have, we are getting reports back of less seizures for many of our clients overall. So, you take the good and the bad, and, this is really working. But we don't just want to do support groups virtually. Actually, today, for the very first time, we had game day. From 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock today, we played virtual games because people just didn't want to talk. They just wanted to have an hour of just enjoying life, and I know that went over really, really well. So, there's challenges, there's no doubt about it. But I think our staff has grown. I think our team has grown. I think we've evolved, and we know we're helping people, but we cannot wait till we get to see each other in person. I know you can't wait until you get into a school and start educating teachers and principals and administrators and things of that nature. Our whole team, we love getting into the community. So we're missing that, but when it's safe and when we're ready, we will be back out there. But in the meantime, virtually, we could do a lot of the things that we could, previously in person. It's just, we miss you guys. We just miss you guys. That's it.
Yeah.
We miss our staff misses each other too. That's the other side.
Yeah.
I'll take both questions. I like both questions a lot. In 3 months, hopefully, we could get to a point where we can meet in person. And, I think that's really where we want to be. But again, our staff safety, our vendor safety, our client safety, our board member safety, that's really extremely important. So in 3 months, hopefully we can have some in-person connections overall. And I think that's where we want to be. But also these virtual support groups, right? This game idea came up through our clients saying, we want to do something fun. We want to have a good time. So to me, we'll keep on creating more virtual ideas. So in 3 months, yes, we have support groups virtually 3 days a week, and we have a game night. but I see ourselves having more. We're doing Spanish support groups now too, and that's taking place on an evening and on a weekend to accommodate that community as a whole, as we're trying to reach out to the Spanish-speaking community more and more than ever before. So in 3 months, I think it's just a matter of keep on building on what we have. And if COVID-19 allows us to meet in person, we're there, guys. We cannot wait to meet, to see you again in person, but at the, in a safe environment. So that's the 3-month answer overall. The three-year answer, that's a tough one. That's tough, but hopefully I see ourselves here having the same conversation, but talking about, how we've evolved over a 3-year period. I just want us to impact more people living with epilepsy. I want to write more laws. I want to be a better advocate. I want to raise more awareness. We're building a campaign with Cure. We're building one with Danny Did about 1 in 26. If you go to 1in26.org, you'll find out how we're partnering together. So let's raise awareness together. Let's, there's a lot, there's a lot of new drugs out there. Let's try to reduce the amount of seizures. Let's try to end SUDEP. Let's try to make people more aware of SUDEP. That's where I want to be, where epilepsy is in the forefront of all conversations, not just in Chicago, not just in Illinois, and not just in this country, but around the world, that everybody knows what epilepsy is and what to do from a seizure first aid perspective. From Epilepsy Foundation Greater Chicago, where I want to be, I want us to have satellite offices all over the state of Illinois. I want us, because transportation is such a challenge for people who are living with epilepsy. And again, I know having satellite offices in various suburban communities, it doesn't alleviate the problem of transportation at all, but it maybe helps out a little bit more where people don't have to come into the city and visit us in our office. So for me, I want to have satellite offices that we can have an educator, we can have a case manager or a clinician in various parts of the state of Illinois. And then within the city of Chicago, what I want to build a resource center. So I want us to have a resource center that people could come to at any point in time, and they could work on soft skills to getting a job interview, writing a resume. We could have Studio E taking place every single day, where you could come in and do art therapy or play board games. We have a new clinical department with people want to help from the mental health side. You could come in and meet with a clinician. You could do meditation room. We have a meditation room, have a yoga room. I just want to have maybe tutoring within this space. Anybody who is living with epilepsy and wants to seize the narrative back from epilepsy could come to our offices and interact with other people living with epilepsy, our clinical team, our education team. Come to us and say, hey, Ayesha, my business doesn't understand seizure first aid. Come to our office and talk to us. If you're in our building, we'll go to you. It's not a problem, but we'll go anywhere in the community. So for me, I want a resource center, and I want satellite locations for us, and I want everybody to know what epilepsy is, and I want everybody to know what seizure first aid is, and that will allow us to invest in the community and hopefully reduce or eliminate seizures, save lives, and one day close our doors because the Epilepsy Foundation of Greater Chicago is no longer needed. That is the dream. Well, a couple of things. When we can, I love to ride my bike into work. I live on the northwest side of Chicago. It's probably, I don't even know, 8-9 miles each way. So I love just to take Milwaukee Avenue all the way down and ride my bike to the office. It's a great way to get ready for the day, and it's also a great way to decompress on the way home. So I think, that is one of my passions as a whole. And then when I get home, there's nothing that makes me happier than I love to cook. Cooking is something that I love to do, and lucky for me, my wife likes to eat, so it works out really, really well. And I think so those are a couple of things that I really love doing as a whole. But I love what we do as a community, and this is a special group of people, and we're doing amazing work. So overall, I just try to enjoy every day. My grandpa always told me that enjoy every day like it's your last, and that's what I try to do, and that's what I try to share with our team, and that's what I try to share with each and every one of you, is enjoy every single day and every single moment. I know some challenging times out there right now, but we will get together. We will get together soon when it's safe, and we'll be able just to have a great time and to seize the narrative back from epilepsy. So let's do it. I'm super excited, and I can't wait to see each and every one of you, as well as you, Ayesha. It's been a long time since I've seen you in person.
Yeah, and you owe me a burger still.
That's true. I do owe you a burger. So
Yeah,
as soon as we can, I'll take you out for a burger. I promise.
perfect. Sounds good. Well, on that awesome positive note, I just want to thank you again for making time for me, and I wish you all the best. Take
Yep. Be
care.
safe, and I hope to see you soon.